Hello, everyone, and welcome to New Voices News, a broadcast of Lions Club Athens Specialty New Voices. I'm your hostess, Olga Pavlidou. Our broadcast is part of the Equality Campaign, a call for human rights. We are particularly honored about our ongoing interview with International First Vice President A.P. Singh. Dear listeners, human rights are the foundation of a just and equitable society, protecting dignity, freedom, and equality of every individual, regardless of their background, ethnicity, gender, or beliefs. These fundamental rights ensure that every person, by virtue of being human, is entitled to certain freedoms and protections. For me, human rights are not just abstract ideals. They are essential principles that guide us toward a fairer and more just world. They are not merely legal frameworks, but a call of societal change, requiring shifts in attitudes, addressing inequalities, and ensuring access to resources. While the journey to adopt human rights universally can be challenging, it is achievable through awareness, advocacy, and consistent effort. Governments, organizations, and individuals all play a role in making sure these rights are respected and upheld for all. We are truly honored to have with us today International First Vice President, a true mentor and a leader. His work has made a significant global impact, and his commitment to fostering a more just and a compassionate world serves as an inspiration to us all. International First Vice President, welcome. Allow me to share a few things about our esteemed guests today. A.P. Singh is from Kolkata, India, and elected as first Vice President of Lions International at the Association's 106th International Convention in Australia. A practicing chartered accountant and with family business interests in automobile dealerships. Vice President Singh has been a dedicated Lion since 1984 and a member of Calcutta Vickers Lions Club. Throughout his journey in Lions International, he has held many key positions, including district governor and council chairperson. He served in numerous positions, and also he chaired the 2017 district government elect seminar in Chicago and has been a faculty member at over 50 leadership programs worldwide. Vice President Singh's work in the service extends beyond leadership development. He has been deeply involved in campaigns and was serving as multinational coordinator and as a major gift donor for both campaigns 100 and Site First 2. He is a Progressive Melville Jones Fellow and has earned many prestigious awards, including multiple International President's Awards and the Ambassador of Goodwill Award, the highest honor granted by Lions International. In addition to his Lions service, Vice President has initiated various service programs in collaboration with trusts, foundations, and corporate organizations. He's been instrumental in developing a web-based leadership platform, a microfinance program, and has organized large-scale online events to engage Lions members globally. Vice President Singh has 3 children. Vice President Singh's contribution and his unwavering commitment to creating a positive impact in the world are truly remarkable. We are grateful to have him with us today for this special interview. Now, turning our focus to leadership, International First Vice President, why do you become a Lion?
Well, I think when you are asking me this question, you want to know when did I become the member of the Lions Club first, and that was in 1984. And that was because my father's good friend was the president of a local Lions Club, a very good club. And he believed that as a young person, when I was just beginning my profession, he believed that I should also become a member of a social organization which is international, and that the Lions International would be the best platform, and that would help me to grow in the community and also be able to serve the community as I started earning. But that was just the beginning of, being a member of a Lions Club. But essentially, becoming a lion means that I became a lion from my heart. And that did not happen immediately. That happened some years later when I went to some service programs. I was very deeply impressed. They were cataract surgery programs. They were being conducted by an ophthalmic surgeon who was a past district governor, who was so dedicated to working in the rural areas and in helping individuals to fight blindness. That really touched my heart. And it's at that moment that I really became a lion at heart. So I became a member of a Lions Club in 1984, but it took about 10 years for something, for a service program to make a very deep impression on my mind, that I became a lion from the heart. And ever since then, this has been a way of life for me.
Right. Leadership is about serving not from the top, but from the bottom of the pyramid. These were some of your words during your speech in Montreal. Do you believe that our organization seminars are structured to foster a servant leadership mindset among Lion members and help them gain a deeper understanding of servant leadership?
Well, in an organization like ours, I believe that every individual is at the same level. We are all wearing this Lions lapel pin. We are all members of our Lions clubs. Some of us may be wearing a badge of, serving in a higher position. But essentially, the most important badge that we wear is the Lions lapel pin. This is the permanent badge. So we are all at the same level, and we all try to serve the communities. We provide leadership with whatever opportunities are given to us, and we all work together as a team in our clubs, in our districts, and in Lions International. I do understand what you are trying to ask when you say, do you find this always the right way for promoting servant leadership in all our seminars, maybe even in all our conventions or conferences? Sometimes I believe we give too much importance to that protocol. We start giving too much importance to the badges, because we are all human beings. Sometimes, some people, we believe that if we speak so many good words, or we give that extra importance to an individual who's wearing a badge, that as if that's the best way to do it. But I can tell you the best way is to continue to have conversations. The best way is to continue to respect every line, irrespective of what badge that person is wearing, to listen to what every lion is saying. We may all have our own views. We may have various, differences of views as well, but it all has to be done very respectably. And so I believe servant leadership is about empowering everybody. Servant leadership is about giving opportunities to everybody in this organization. And that provides the real strength to our organization. So protocols are important, but protocols must be used to promote the organizations. Protocols must not become, or hierarchy must not become the most important thing. That is only a secondary thing.
Right. So important. So important. Shifting gears a bit, let's talk about equality. Service is a relationship of equals, as you already said. Therefore, equality for Lions is at the core of our mission. New Voices is an initiative that ensures that every member's voice is heard and that their opinions and suggestions are taken seriously. What's your take, your opinion on this initiative?
Absolutely. This is a very wonderful initiative. You see, in our association, we have promoted so many initiatives. And to promote the initiatives, we set up, various structures in the organization. We have somebody as a chairperson, then, committees and committees at different levels. I mean, especially if it's an international initiative, the structure can become very big. Sometimes the structure can become too heavy. But one initiative that has become a favorite of the Lions across the world, and that has made a great impact with our members and has helped us grow the association and has also provided opportunities for the members to come together, share views, to engage in service programs, to provide opportunities for providing more leadership is New Voices. And when this was launched by past international president Gudrun Inga daughter and PID Sangeeta Jatia, with whom I work very closely, and she was involved also in promotion of this program. I mean, I used to sometimes think at that point of time, they are thinking of promoting it globally, but they don't have a heavy structure. But then a woman's mind is different from a man's mind. And that's where the importance of both the genders working together in our organization becomes even more important. They could promote this program without a huge structure by asking Lions in every country, in every district, in every multiple district to form their own teams, to start having conversations, start having discussions, start sharing stories. And the movement really caught on, and the movement is still so active. This initiative is still so active, and yet this does not even have a defined structure. So this is one of the classical examples of a successful initiative without a huge structure or an investment in the huge structure. And yet the Lions, as I said, they really love this program because it really gives them the freedom to operate and express themselves. I think there's a great learning lesson from the success of New Voices.
It is an amazing initiative, really.
Empowering communities, transforming lives. Lions Clubs International, a global network of volunteers united by a shared mission to serve. In India, for over 70 years, Lions are changing lives, one act of kindness at a time. Be a part of the Lions movement.
Now, let's zoom out a little and look at the global impact. As a humanitarian service organization, the Lions Club has undertaken numerous projects worldwide. Which specific initiatives do you believe have had the most profound impact in advising our mission of service, and how can we continue to expand and strengthen these efforts globally?
Now, that's not an easy question because, our clubs are all autonomous. We have 50,000 clubs. The clubs can choose what they want to do, what kind of service that they want to engage with. But historically, if you ask me, the greatest challenge was provided to the Lions by another woman, and that was Helen Keller, when she challenged the Lions of the world to be the knights of the blind in the crusade against darkness. And the Lions responded. And ever since that challenge and the response of the Lions accepted the challenge to fight preventable and reversible blindness. So across the world, whether it's through cataract surgeries in India and South Asia, whether it's fighting river blindness in Africa, whether it's fighting, setting up eye banks across the entire world, whether it's, guide dogs in North America and other parts of the world, or eye screenings that are camps that are, taking place in almost all districts of the world, the missions for, medical missions that are taken up jointly between Lions of different parts of the world. I mean, any kind of work that's been done in Vision program has been a very important part of our service. But then in the last 15 years or so, we have also developed what is called the global causes. And among each of those global causes are important, but definitely the Lions appear to be, more, it's even easier to engage in those projects like hunger, elevating hunger, fighting hunger, or for environment. So these are kind of programs with which the Lions have been very, very passionately involved. Of course, Lions' menu of service is so extensive that we can never even say that this is the total menu, because Lions across the world engage in so many service programs. But starting with the first global focus on vision, and then to all the global causes of the association, Lions are making a great impact. And among the global causes, I think across the world, there are, more number of clubs that engage with the hunger-related projects and the environment projects.
When it comes to fostering collaboration, how can we create an environment where service becomes a true partnership and equality is embedded in the core of the mission and practice? The Lions International has certainly made significant strides toward creating an inclusive and service-oriented environment. But what could still improve?
I've often said that service is the soul of this organization. Leadership is the mind, and membership is the body. And the beauty of this body is its diversity, is its inclusiveness. This is an organization for any individual who has a heart to serve, irrespective of the genders, age, which part of the world that individual comes from, the color, the language, the ethnic background. Any human being who wants to make this world better than what it has been before, and who is committed to leaving this world more safe and more secure for the future generations, Lions International or a Lions Club is the right place for that individual. And in doing so, we must be able to include everybody. We must be able to work with equality. We must be able to empower all genders, gender balance, gender equality. But to do all of that, we must have the mindset of equity. If the mindset of equity, justice, fairness is not there, then perhaps we may deprive certain individuals or certain groups from the right place that they deserve in this organization. And yet I believe across the entire world, there are so many ethnic groups, people from so many backgrounds who are not as much represented in our membership as they should be. For example, 50% of the human race is women, but we don't have our membership, 50% is not women. So we've come a long way. It's above 30%, it's about 32, 33%, but we need to grow even further. This realization is already there, and it's growing. The realization is growing amongst the Lions across the entire world. And that's the best thing for this association. That's the best thing for Lions International, because the more individuals that we get, and individuals with different mindsets, different ways of thinking, different approach, different perspectives. I mean, that is the beauty of this organization. Not only the beauty, that's also the intrinsic strength of this organization. So I think, there's a lot of work to do in Lions International. We are committed towards inclusiveness. We are committed to diversity. We are committed to making this an organization for everybody who wants to come in and be a part of our service. But then we need to be more proactive in our approach in making this organization more women friendly, more youth friendly, more diversity friendly. If we can do that, we will be able to grow the organization at a faster pace in the era of Mission 1.5. And Mission 1.5, which is the dream to grow the membership so that we can serve more effectively, we can serve much more, will become more successful if we can spread this inclusiveness.
All around the world, there are women who lead, women who serve, women who teach, women who inspire, women who believe. Women can do anything because nothing is out of reach. When you're the queen of the jungle, an ambassador for peace, a global lion leader, your roar will never cease. You stand for hope and unity, bright as the rising sun, a guiding light for those in need. In service we are one. You lead with grace and courage, your heart forever true, and I will in all who hear your call. The world believes in you. She is a lion, hear her roar. She is a leader, watch her soar. She is a lion, hear her roar. She is a leader, watch her soar. She is a lion, hear her roar. She's a leader, watch her soar. All around the world, there are women who lead, women who serve, women who teach, women who inspire, women who believe. Women can do anything because nothing is out of reach. When you're the queen of the jungle, an ambassador for peace, a global lion leader, your roar will never cease. You stand for hope and unity, bright as the rising sun, a guiding light for those in need. In service we are one. You lead with grace and courage, your heart forever true, a vital in all who hear your call. The world believes in you. She is a lion, hear her roar. She is a leader, watch her soar. She is a leader, watch her soar.
On a more personal note, let's talk about human rights. Can you share an example of a human rights issue you are passionate about, and explain how you believe individuals, organizations, or governments can effectively address it?
Now, when we talk about human rights in our organization, we have to be a little careful because our basic principles are very clear, and the basic principles say that we will not participate in sectarian politics or even with religion or with political issues. Will not participate or will not make that a part and parcel of our organization. But then being an organization like Lions Clubs International, which is committed to bringing the peoples of the world together and binding them in a spirit of service, that spirit of international brotherhood and understanding, so that the world becomes a better place, to not discuss human rights is almost impossible. So we discuss human rights, and human rights are extremely important, and human rights have a big history. If we go into, the tenets of the Indian civilization or some of the greatest civilizations in Europe, because these parts of the world are the cradles of human civilizations, you will find there's so much literature that talks of equality, that talks of, respect for each other, that talks of basic human rights that must be assured to every human being. But then that is not what has actually happened. So while we talk about that international brotherhood, we need to be able to promote, and starting from the Declaration of Human Rights of the 20th century, although there's a lot of literature that goes back many, many centuries before that, but in the modern era, the Declaration of Human Rights is referred to as a very important document. Before that, also the Magna Carta of the United Kingdom. And then in Europe, there have been so many charters for, human rights. But looking at it from the perspective of Lions International, I would believe equality of everybody, the right to education, the right to medical treatment, the right to being able to earn one's living, and the right not to be persecuted for differences that are not justified. These are the most important human rights. And Lions International can become, or is, very important organization in the entire world when we work towards the educational programs. We work towards programs that provide skills so that people can get better employment, so that people can, raise their families, have a good, reasonable income, and be able to raise their families. We help them come out of the poverty lines and live a more decent life. We build understanding across the world in trying to talk about peace, in trying to talk about, through our peace poster contest, when we encourage young minds to dream of peace, to think of peace. I mean, those are great things that we are doing in our organization. I think among the human rights, education and healthcare, the right that human beings have that, and that's very well chronicled in all the charters of human rights, various charters in Europe that are available, and we read, they're very well chronicled there. I think Lions International is hugely supportive of that, and our activities of our clubs really support those, the fulfillment or the achievement of those human rights.
Thank you. Finally, a big picture question. What do you think? I think that you already answered it, but I will do it again. I will repeat it. What do you think? Do you see challenges in adapting human rights universally?
It's not a question of adapting human rights universally. Whenever any organization draws up a document on human rights, there are different people who are working. First of all, at which point of history it's being drawn up. A document on human rights which was drawn up, say, in 19th century or the early part of 20th century will be very different from a document that was drawn up towards the end of the 20th century. And it will be very different from a document that is drawn up today. If supposing a document that is drawn up today on human rights, that human rights will, include the right to connectivity, the right to even cellular connectivity may find a place in human rights. Now, that was never thought of when we were drafting a Charter of Human Rights in the early part of the 20th century. So it all depends at which point of history, at what point of time are we drawing up that document of human rights, number one. Then it will also depend in which part of the world it is being drawn up, because the need for human rights, to be pressed upon from a particular perspective may be high in some parts of the world, may be different in some other parts of the world. When we talk of human rights, focus, I'll give you a very clear example. Say a human rights focus in a country like Australia will be very different from a human rights focus that is there in the Middle East, where war just does not end. For centuries and centuries, war doesn't come to an end. Those parts of the world don't see a decade without war. They have never experienced a decade without war. But then there are other parts of the world, parts like Australia, parts like New Zealand, where the perspective is very different. So it's actually going to depend as to what is the more primary important area as to where it's being drawn up, when it is being drawn up, and which organization and who are the people who are being drawn up. But the most important part is, no matter what the difference is, all documents of human rights are basically about securing the future of the world. They are about showing respect to every human being. They are about respecting diversity. They are about accepting different opinions. And they are about ensuring that everybody has a right to a decent life, to a peaceful life. And within that decent and peaceful life, education, healthcare, movement between different parts of the world, respect, all of that gets covered. And, that continues to be our focus. And that will be the focus of every right-minded human being on this planet Earth. It can have different perspectives. It doesn't matter. To somebody who's working, in Europe today, what we've seen going on in the last few years in Ukraine will have a perspective on human rights. It could change. It could change. The perspectives could change sometime even in the future. But the essence will remain the same, that the women, the children, the innocent must be protected. They have a right to a safe life. They have a right, to live as families together. That is what human rights is all about.
Exactly. Thank you.
Searching your heart to find a purpose in your life. What are you looking for? It is a better world. We born to be equal and free, to dream a future unjust is free. This dream will be fulfilled when children belong to a family too. And I'm not hungry too. Here's a lesson that we must take all. We all unique. I am you and you are me. Against nature, do not live your life. Depends on it. Don't destroy and punish it. Here's a lesson that we must take all. We all unique. I am you and you are me. We all have rights on earth, to health, to education, to dignity. Human rights must be protected. We are free to dream, to travel, to speak. Light of justice, we must be. We have to have an inner peace. So don't judge me, because I differ. The way I talk, I see, I walk. Open your mind to see how often we say we're all the same, and after we differentiate. After a pandemic, there are wars. Think, what future do you want? What we should be looking for is a better future, a better world. Here's a lesson that we should take all. We all unique. I am you and you are me. Here's a lesson that we must take all. We all unique. I am you and you are me.
As we wrap up today's special segment, we'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to International First Vice President A.P. Singh for joining us and sharing his invaluable insights and experiences. His dedication to leadership, service, and the global Lions community is truly inspiring, and his work continues to make a profound impact on people's lives around the world. Sir, would you like to have a closing remark?
My request to everybody as a closing remark is, we love this organization. We love this organization because of what we can do through this organization. We can make our own local communities better. We can connect on the global level. We can meet people from all parts of the world. We may not know their language. We may not be aware of their culture, but we are aware that they have a heart to serve. And that's what brings us together. This is such a wonderful organization. Let's grow this organization. Let every lion, every passionate lion, invite more individuals to become members of this organization. Because when we may have more people, we will have more resources. The greatest resource of our organization is the membership. Members bring everything else. Members serve. Members raise funds. Members build that international understanding and grow those bonds. So let's get more and more members to make our organization stronger. Thank you.
Exactly. I would like also to thank PID Saketa Zadia that is here with us today. We are very proud and we are very inspired by her. If today's conversation has inspired you to make a difference, we encourage you to consider becoming a lion and joining the global movement of service. Lions International is always looking for passionate individuals committed to creating positive change in their communities and beyond. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to our New Voices News radio broadcast. Until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and let's all keep striving for a more compassionate world. Remember, you too can make a difference. Become a lion today. Goodbye and take care.
Thank you.